Hey y'all, it's me, it's Brandy. I'm back. You guys, I know this video is well overdue, but I'm here now. Let's just get right into it. Hello, and welcome to my channel. Or welcome back to my channel. You guys had a ton of questions that you had for me in regards to the school psychology field. So here we go. This video is going to be a Q&A. No worries, I'll be back with some more videos. I'm gonna do more Q&A, so you don't have to worry. If you left a comment, be sure, rest assured that I will get to your question eventually, okay? So I have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Woo, 8 questions. I'm trying to keep this video under 10 minutes, and I'm gonna try my best. But if not, I might have to cut it short. So, and if I'm going to answer the question as best as I can. So a disclaimer, you guys, there's going to be a disclaimer. Yes, I'm a school psychologist. Everything I'm talking to you about is about my experience and what I've gone through so far and to get to this stage as a school psychologist. As you guys know, if you saw my previous video, I'm a school psychologist in the state of California. So all of my experiences will pertain to what I had to do in this state to become licensed, okay? So I have my phone with all the questions. Let me go grab it real quick. I'll be right back. I have my phone, so let me pull up the questions. I'm going to go to the first video, a day in the life of the school psychologist. Before I get into you guys' questions, I want to make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to your girl's channel. Make sure you click the bell because I have more school psychology videos coming out. I was thinking about some things, and my next video, aside from the Q&A, I'm going to do what's in my bag as a school psychologist. So I'm going to take you guys along for the whole week. You're going to be able to see me in my different settings as a school psychologist. So that should be real fun. So our first question is from J. Will. She says, could you do a video about how to get into the school psychology master's program and advice about the profession? Great question, J. Will. So how can you get into the school psychology program? My first thing would be go check out your local universities to find out if they offer the program. So do your research, do your due diligence to check out these programs and see what best fits you. So whether you're a full-time mom, a full-time employee somewhere, check out the schedules, go up to the school, talk to the faculty, determine if this program is a good fit for you, okay? But definitely go up to your universities that offer the program, talk to the faculty, see what the program's about. What do you have to do to get in the program? Make sure you start early. There's nothing like waiting to the last minute, okay? Make sure you start early. Make sure you start early. So if you need letters of recommendations, get those now. If you plan on applying somewhere this fall, start now, getting your things together, okay? The main thing I can suggest is find out what the requirements are and meet all of those requirements. That's the only thing I can really say is make sure you have your personal statement in order. Make sure you have your transcripts. Make sure you've gone to the school and talked to the faculty. Just do your best on getting those requirements filled and checking out the program to see what best fits you, okay? Any advice about the profession? Oh, you know what? I have a ton of advice about this profession, but let me see. The number one thing I can say, do not procrastinate, okay? You guys hear me. Do not procrastinate. You will go crazy if you do. You don't want to wait to the last minute because things are moving so fast. This is a fast-paced job. You're constantly doing something. You're constantly here. You're constantly there. You're constantly getting requests from parents. You're talking to the teachers. Do not procrastinate on anything. And you know what? I have so many templates that I use to help me not be a procrastinator. Let me show you guys one. Hold on. Right here. This is a to-do list. Today's agenda. And guess what? It has what I'm supposed to do, and my priorities and my notes, today's agenda. So when I come in the morning, I write down everything I need to do. I write down my priorities and I check them off as I go. So this is for every day, okay? It is a lifesaver, okay? Actually, my BCF gave this to me, my best coworker for life, my best colleague for life. She's a speech and language pathologist, and we work together all the time. And she actually gave this to me to help me out because she knows that our caseloads are insane. So this is a tool. Make sure you get things that help you. That is one thing I can say about the profession is don't be that person that's the procrastinator that's waiting to the last minute. I've done it now, don't get me wrong. I have been a procrastinator in the past, but I'm definitely working on that because it makes your life so much easier when you're not procrastinating. I've been that person waking up in the middle of the night trying to finish stuff out for the next day's meeting. Don't do that. I'm telling you, if you go into the profession, start off with a clean slate. You know, make sure you have your organizational skills in order. Make sure you're maximizing your time. So that agenda helps me maximize my time because I've written down everything I know I need to do for that day, and I check it off as I go, okay? And I might add things as the day goes on, and I remember something like, oh yeah, I need to do that. So J. Will, thank you for commenting. I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, if it helped you, make sure you comment below. If you have any other questions, comment below, okay? Now you guys, don't leave yet. I still have a ton of questions that I need to get answered, okay? Make sure you're giving this video a thumbs up. Tiffany Lee says, what are your thoughts on using social media, YouTube, as a school psychologist? You know what? I really haven't thought about it. Actually, my first video that I put out as a school psychologist, it was kind of by accident. I was just filming and, you know, doing a day in the life of, and it actually took off and you guys were really interested. So I did another video and I found that people have, you know, interest. So why not? I think it's helpful when you're in the program or you want to learn more about something that you're able to use or gain access to people that are already in the field. So I actually think it's a positive. Why not give the people what they want? They want to know about school psychology. Well, guess what? I'm going to give you some information about this field. Okay, so our next question is from Jim. Thank you for sharing this. You're amazing. Could you talk about graduate school for school psychology? Did you get an EDS or PhD? I'm in college and I'm in the application process for PhD programs of school psychology, so I'm so excited. Thank you, Jim, for that question, and congratulations. So actually what's required in the state of California is receiving a master's in school psychology and a credential. So you don't necessarily need a PhD or EDS or whatever the requirements that are in other states. All you need for the state of California is to get in a school psychology program that offers the credential so you can be certified through the California Teaching Commission. So once you go through the CTC, once you get your credential to practice in the school setting, you're all set. So you just need the master's program in school psychology that is accompanied by the credential for the state of California. And that's all we need. Now I know other states require you to, get your doctorate degree, but California is not one of those states. Thank you, Jim. Hopefully that answered your question. Feel free to comment below if it did or it didn't. Leave me some more questions. I have Jalen Jarman. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Jalen Jarman. Can you discuss how your grad school experience was, what schools you applied to, if you received any scholarships, and also recommendations on what to do in undergrad to make you an outstanding applicant for grad school? Now, my grad school experience was, I had a good experience, you know. I was in a cohort with, we started off with about 15 to 20 people in my program, and guess what? We ended up with 3 finishing from that cohort. Now, some people went into the field not knowing what to expect. Yeah, so the practicum, that's one thing. You have to do your practicum hours, and those are not paid. So people weren't able to leave their full-time job to actually complete those hours. The same thing goes for the school psychologist internship. So you know that's an additional year of working at the school setting during school hours. So usually when you're supposed to be at your 9-to-5 job, you would have to put in time at the school setting. And most of those are unpaid positions. I heard they're doing a lot better, but you can't count on those. Thankfully, I was blessed with the internship that was paid. Thank you, Lord. So I was able to do it, and it you know, that was the stressful part, to say the least, was the the practicum and the internship hours, because you know that you have to work, and when you're not able to work, you can't provide for your family, especially if you have, for me, I had a husband, and you know, I had things that I needed to take care of. So that was stressful, not knowing if I was going to get a paid internship or not. So other than that, my grad school experience was wonderful. And my grad school experience was wonderful. My faculty that I worked with were all school psychologists. So they were people that had been in the field for years, and they were able to really get in there and teach us what they've learned and what they knew and their expertise. And I would suggest, when you're in grad school, make sure you're asking those questions. Like, don't be afraid to raise your hand and say, hey, I don't understand this. Because this is a learning process. This is where you're learning. This is where you're getting your experience. So make sure you're asking those questions, because 9 times out of 10, everybody else in the classroom is still thinking the same thing that you're thinking, you know. And it's not until, for me, I asked the questions, but it was not until I actually start to apply those things that I was learning in a real world setting, where it actually starts to begin, where it actually began to click. So once I went to the school setting, once I went into the school setting and started applying what I've learned, oh my God, it came together for me. So I asked the questions, I took a lot of notes, and you know, just made sure that I was doing my part with the learning process to make sure I could be a school psychologist that would be successful once I entered the field. Let me go back. So, and Jalen Jarman, you asked if I received any scholarships. No, I didn't. You know what? I didn't even apply for scholarships, and I wish I would have, but it was like, when you see those scholarships and all that you have to do, for me at least, I was like, I'm not even gonna get into it. Let me just go to school and get this over with. But I wish if I could go back, I would apply for it. So I recommend it. If you want to apply for those scholarships, go ahead and do it. Also, any recommendations on what to do in grad school to make you an outstanding applicant? I say, so for your undergrad, make sure that, you know, some people in undergrad, they kind of take it for granted and they just get like C's. Make sure you're disciplining yourself now in undergrad, so when you get into the grad school program, you already have a work ethic when it comes to you studying, when it comes to you completing your homework, because it's going to get more intense when you get into grad school and you start having to do all the things that are required in the school psychology program. So I would say start with the undergrad, making sure your grades are up to par, getting those A's and B's. So make sure you're getting recommendations from someone that can kind of speak to how you would be as a school psychologist and how great you would be for that field. So I would say get some great recommendations from people. What I think would be best is having great recommendations and having great transcripts. box where it shows that you're serious about this education thing, right? So Jalen Jarman, hopefully that answered your question. Comment below, let me know if it did. If you have any other questions, comment below. Make sure you guys are giving this video a thumbs up. And stay tuned. I got some more because I might get to your question, okay? So don't leave just yet. Let me see. Who's next? Who's next? So we have I guess this is Teeny Bomb or Teen Bomb. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Can you explain the interview process? What was that like and how did you prepare for it? Oh, you guys, the interview process is the most, for me, was the most stressful. Oh my God, I was like just so nervous. I'm like, oh, shaking in my boots. So when I had my interviews, I think all of my interviews as a school psychologist was an interview panel. So it was, even in my internship, when I interned for, when I applied for my internship, which was a paid one, it was a bunch of school psychologists, veterans, who were on the panel. And when I say that was so intimidating, oh my God, it was intimidating. And I was like, oh my God, I have all these veterans. So I'm like, looking like, oh my God, I was nervous with my internship interview. But I guess I did good because I got the position. So I went in there prepared. Even though I was nervous, I still answered the questions. And I just gave my best answer. So what I was taught when I was in school, when we went through the interview process, we did mock interviews. So I would suggest doing a mock interview with your classmates where you can find questions. The teacher gave us, the actual professor gave us questions that would most likely be on in your interview. And we did mock interviews in the classroom with groups. It really did help. How did I prepare for it? I just, made sure I reviewed everything. Make sure I knew all of the disabilities, what they entail. Just studying everything that I learned in my internship, in my practicum. I know they did a lot of scenarios like what ifs. They asked about emotional disturbance versus socially maladjusted. They asked about like autism. It was a ton of questions. I had different scenarios on what I would do in certain instances. Definitely try to talk with your faculty member or your professor to see if they can get you that information on interview questions. Let me see. Let me see if I can find a few that I would think would be. What are your alternative assessment tools? Knowing the law based on the special ed code. So that would be a good one, knowing some of the requirements, for example, for a specific learning disability. What does that require for a student to become eligible under that? Just knowing the different eligibilities and what it entails to qualify a student. Non-verbal assessment, what tools would you use if you were doing a non-verbal assessment, like for a student that was deaf? So Teeny Bomb, hopefully that answered your question. Make sure you comment below. Let me see. Shelby Frank says, I love this video, thank you. I will be applying to a master's program soon, and I just wanted to know what your experience was like in grad school. Any tips, difficulty levels? I kind of spoke to the grad school already, but the difficulty levels was the practicum and the internship. Just going in there and applying what you've learned as a student, going in to actually start performing the job which you have learned. That was the most difficult for me because you have a ton of questions. You kind of second guess yourself and you want to know that you're doing it right, but you may be afraid to ask, or you know, you just second guessing yourself. So that was the most difficult part for me. But I just had to make sure, don't second guess yourself. Just apply what you have learned. Apply what you have learned, and you know, do your best. That's the only thing I can suggest, is applying what you have learned and just taking the initiative to say, hey, this is what I've learned, this is how I'm applying it. And if it's wrong, guess what? Your practicum or your internship supervisor will let you know, and they will correct you. That, Shelby, hopefully that answered your question. If it didn't, make sure you comment below. Or if it did, comment below, let me know. Thank you for watching this video so far, okay? Thanks for sticking around. We have Olivia Grace. She says, thanks for the video. Since you're not counseling, how much time do you spend interacting with students? Are these students you see regularly and get to know well? What are school psych assessments like? Okay, so as you guys know from my previous video, or if you haven't watched it, make sure you watch it. I'm gonna link it above with the pros and the cons. I do not do any counseling. We have a special department for that because it would be impossible with my 3 schools. So I don't do any counseling. So that is what she's referring to. And she says, how much time do you spend interacting with students? So yes, I see students every week. They're not the same students. I only see the ones that I assess for their triennial evaluations or their initial evaluations. So there's the students that I've worked with since I've been at the school site for several years. The students pretty much know me. They see me. Once I assess them, I give little rewards for them doing well, and that kind of sticks with them. I'm like, oh, that's the lady that gave me that nice notebook, or that little toy, or that nice pencil. So I try to build relationships with the students when I do see them. So if they do well on the assessment, or if they, if they come in and they're doing, what they're supposed to do, I always let them know, like, try your best, no pressure. When you're done, you're going to be able to pick from a huge treasure box. And the school psych assessments are usually, let me see, they're typically between 15 to 20 pages or more for an initial. Just depends. Their average is about 15 pages. Sometimes it's 20 plus, sometimes it's in the middle. My triennials are a little bit shorter because I usually just go back and look at the students' present levels and determine exactly what I need to do for that assessment, to see if they still qualify for services, if they made any improvements. So the school psych assessments are, I want to say, how long does a school psych assessment take? I want to say anywhere between, and that's including observations, talking to the teacher, assessing the student, writing the report. I want to say anywhere from between 6 to 15 hours. My longest assessment was, I want to say, over 30 pages. Probably was like 40, I don't know. But that assessment took me weeks to complete. The student had a packet of medical records about this high from my hand, about this high, and I'm not joking, okay? The student had a lot going on, and that was one assessment that I was, okay? But those are few and far between. But typically you will take about 6 to 20 hours, just depending, but that is the majority of my job, is doing school psych assessments. Alrighty, you guys. Whew. We got through that. Now, like I told you before, this question and answer is not over. I'm going to come back and answer the rest of these questions that's on these videos, okay? So not to worry. I'll be back. What do you guys think about me doing a live on the school psychology? I might do a live where you can kind of ask me some more questions too. Let me know in the comment section what you think about me going live, okay? Before we end this video, I want to make sure I give some shout outs. And I'm going to give a shout out each time I post a video. Thank you to all of you who commented, who liked, who shared this video. Thank you for your input, your questions. Thank you, Jennifer Ortega. I'm glad this video was helpful for you. Jennifer Ortega says, thank you for this video. There aren't that many videos on YouTube about being a school psychologist, so I found this very helpful. Shout out to you, Jennifer. Shout out to you, Jennifer. Thank you for watching. Okay, Punky298705 says, it is really challenging to find videos about school psychology, especially people who are young and hip, and highly appreciated. Thank you. I'm hip. No, I'm just joking, guys. You know, I tried, but anyways. Thank you, Punky, for that. One more shout out. Let me see. I'm gonna give a shout out to Tamara Swan. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm in my final term of undergrad, almost done with my BS in psychology. I've already applied for a graduate school psychology program. I wanted to go into school psych since I was 15. I am so nervous. I have 2 kiddos on the spectrum and have a passion for advocacy. I'm so excited to see more of your videos. Tamara Swan, oh, thank you. Congratulations on almost being done with your program. And congrats, I hope that you get into the school psychology program because we need more advocates like you, because who knows better than a parent who has a child with disability, and you know what to advocate for. So congratulations on your accomplishments thus far, and I wish you the best of luck. All right, you guys, I'm out.